Hey Leute, willkommen zurück zu Danganronpa. Wir haben im letzten Part 2 Leichen gefunden und jetzt müssen wir die Leichen erstmal wieder finden, denn ja, sie sind verschwunden.
Komm, weißt du, was ich komisch fand? Es gab nur eine Ansage, dass eine Leiche gefunden wurde.
Huh? Door must be locked.
Ja, wo muss man eigentlich gerade hin?
Die Leichen finden. Du weißt der Geier, wo die sind.
Vielleicht ist ja wieder was beim Nurse passiert, weiß nicht mehr.
Vor allem, warum würde man die Leichen tragen? Wie behindert kann man sein?
Wegen bestimmter Umstände vielleicht.
Ja, aber es ist doch... I better look around the store first. Doch viel einfacher, einfach die Leichen da zu lassen.
Komm, hier einfach diese Tafeln.
Ah, Makoto.
Come on.
Why are you just standing here? We need to get to the repository. You mean...
Indeed.
I found them. Hifumi and Taka's bodies had both been hidden in the repository. I've already told Hina and Sakura, we're going on ahead. Their bodies were in the repository? Was ist nochmal die Repository?
Warte, machen wir nochmal Karte. Ich glaube der Physik, oder? Entweder der Physik- oder Lagerraum.
Ja, aber das Ding ist, in dem Kunstding konnte... Ah, das könnte sogar wirklich sein, warte. Die Tür war ja abgeschlossen. Muss ja irgendeinen Grund gehabt haben, also war this here somewhere? Up ahead is the repository. The doorknob turned. I guess it's unlocked. Then I have no choice but to go inside. So I opened the door. When I entered, I saw... The two bodies that had disappeared were right here. The smell of blood made me gag. What I saw before my eyes was questionable, unavoidable, unvarying reality, and then I heard the announcement for a second time. Das ein zweites Mal.
A body has been discovered!
War einer von beiden nicht tot.
After a certain amount of time, which you may use however you like, the class trial will begin.
And so here we are. Now further ado... Ja, und jetzt gibt's hier die Monokuma-Files.
Ja, was ist das?
Da steht quasi die Todeszeit und wie sie gestorben sind. I was going to hand them out when you found the bodies the first time, but I thought something might happen. It was really hard to resist, but turns out I was right.
Stop talking.
Just hand it over already.
Punishment is waiting for you.
Now make sure to investigate with all your mental might and prepare for the class trial. Nice.
See ya later.
Da fehlt ein Hammer.
Hm?
An der Wand fehlt ein Hammer. Well then, now that we found the bodies, all that is left to uncover the culprit. Hold on. How can you be so calm?
Da fehlen mehrere Hammer.
I mean, they're dead, you know?
That's terrible.
Dead. Gone forever. They're never coming back. Awful. This is all just too awful. Hina suddenly burst into tears. She clutched at Hifumi's lifeless body.
Who would do this? Why? Why?
Large wet tears fell from her eyes. The tear landed on Hifumi's cheeks. If this were some world of make-believe, that might have been when Hifumi opened his eyes. But this wasn't a movie. Was?
Hä?
Was passiert jetzt? Das wasn't... Hä? Ich dachte, er wäre tot.
Ja, weil
Die
die
Leichen-Announcement
Ansage
kam doch, ja. Das wasn't...
He's alive again?
Again.
Where am I? Cold. So cold. Is winter coming? Hifumi! Wake up! Huh?
That's right. I remember now. Hope's Peak.
Come on, you gotta wake up!
I remember everything. Before I met you all. I met you all.
This? His memories are all blending together. He has nothing useful to offer us.
The light. It's reaching out to me. Like the tail of a comet.
Hey, Hifumi! Who was it? Who attacked you? Who tried to kill you?
Who killed me? That's right. I remember their name. Yasu.
Hiro?
Ro.
Der Typ mit den geil abstehenden Haaren, oder was?
Ich sag einfach Afro dazu.
His eyes closed, and they never open again. Ist das nicht ein bisschen offensichtlich? Death for the second time. Absolute undeniable death. No matter how many more of Hina's tears splashed his face, there was no second miracle. Reality set in again. This isn't some stereotypical fantasy world. Tears can restore a person's vitality.
Honestly.
You have no tears, do you? No blood in your veins. No calcium in your bones. At least you have your meat.
Stop talking.
You're just angry. Going out of his way to return just to leave us with those unnecessary dying words. Now this game has become exceedingly boring. He said Yasuhiro, right?
Then perhaps...
Yasuhiro Hakakura? That is the only person he could have been referring to.
So in other words...
And with that, the case is solved. Assaulting people and even killing Taka and Hifumi, and then going so far as to hide their bodies. A criminal that hides his face behind a mask and uses a bunch of giant wooden hammers. Is that what Hiro
What
is?
is this?
If it's true, I can't forgive him. No way can I ever forgive him. To kill two of our friends.
That's fine.
Anyway, it's about time we track down the culprit in our little life or death game here. Although, this time, it's not all that life or death. The trial will conclude without much trouble.
Indeed.
Yes, it does look that way. It's going to begin again. We have to go through this one more time. I have to accept it. I have no choice but to go through with this to make sure everyone survives. I just have to do it. Darf ich jetzt auch bitte... Ja, jetzt darf ich endlich mal erkunden. First I better check the Monokuma files. The victims were Hifumi Yamada and Kiyotaka Ishimaru. The cause of death for each was a blow to the head. It is thought that they were both killed with a similar weapon. That's
Very
it.
strange.
Yeah, it's pretty strange. We got way less information this time than before. That is no problem. After all the events of this case unfolded before our very eyes, we should know more about what happened than the Monokuma file could anyway. Maybe.
Well,
There's something else that's bothering me. Someone else has been missing for quite a while. Yeah, Kyoko. Are you talking about
perhaps.
Kyoko? Without a doubt, she has an alibi for when Celeste and Hifumi were attacked, but what if the killer wasn't acting alone? What if they had an accomplice? An accomplice? An accomplice? What are you doing here?
Monokuma appears!
Don't be rude. I'm here to answer your question. What question?
Yep.
You're talking about accomplices, right? I'm pretty sure I explained before, didn't I, during the first class trial?
Speaking of which, I'd like to ask the bear, if there is an accomplice, do they also become blackened?
So you ask, and so I shall answer. Each murder is allowed to have an accomplice, but only the one who does the killing will get to graduate.
Deswegen macht ja keinen Sinn.
So in
Vom
other
guten Teil.
words, two people can work together, but one of them has no chance of profiting from it.
Then there's no way anyone would work together, right?
Außer jemand ist wirklich so
In
dumm.
other words,
So basically, you can all be an accomplice if you want, but there's no gratification in it.
so then...
So you're saying nobody worked together this time either?
Hey,
Sorry, can't answer that. It would obstruct the free exchange of information between you guys. I just want to make sure you don't forget, no matter how much you might assist in a murder. Only one blackened can graduate, and the accomplice gets nothing.
So in other words,
And we only need to figure out who that one blackened is. That did the killing, right? Just like normal.
Well,
Okay, let me take this opportunity to clarify the whole shebang. In this class trial, What you need to determine is
Extreme!
the one true Blacken to devise the murder plot and put it into action. True Blacken, so just one
Well
person.
now,
That's enough for explanifying. Now it's down to the final battle between all of you and the Blacken. Good luck to all the contestants. So there can only be one Blacken, then an accomplice wouldn't benefit. Then I can't see any way Kyoko would be connected to this case after all. You may be right. If that's true, then Kyoko, where are you?
however...
As long as she's not connected to the case, it doesn't matter. Let's get back to the investigation.
Indeed.
I've absolutely no doubt that Hiro is responsible. But for the time being, I suppose it can't hurt to pursue further information.
So,
You know, don't you think we should consider a certain someone a subject just in case? I'm talking about the murderous fiend Genocide Jack. What? I'm offended.
So, wann ist sie wach?
When did you... I've been looking all over for you, Master. When I woke up, you were nowhere to be found.
you SOB!
Anyway, you there, milk sack swimmer girl. Milk sack?
You gotta be kidding!
Why do I gotta be a suspect?
What the heck?
Well, I mean, you are a serial killer.
What?
Aber sie tötet ja nur in einer Fashion. Sie tötet ja nur in einem Weg. Also mit Scheren. So what? I'm like a special guest suspect every time? I have an alibi, you know? She's right about that. When we heard her from me scream, she was with me. And when the bodies disappeared, she was still lying, unconsciousness in the equipment room. Plus, Taka's body aside, I can't imagine any way she would have been able to move Hifumi's body. Yeah, exactly. Besides, I'll calculate every move I make. I'm not gonna kill someone when everyone knows what I look like. They don't call me the murderous fiend for nothing.
What are you saying?
It's not the kind of thing you should be bragging about.
Let's see.
On another topic, should we post a guard by the bodies like before? We can't have them disappearing again. Hina and I can handle that. You don't mind, do you, Hina? Sure, I'd be totally useless on the investigation anyway.
It's all clear now.
Then that's that. Let's begin. This whole thing is so strange. All but one of us has an alibi, so figuring out who did it should be obvious, right? But maybe it's just me, but I don't think it's gonna be to be as straightforward as it seems. Ach nein, der Trick Bullet Section. Ich glaube nicht, dass es so einfach ist, wäre doch viel zu einfach.
Die Detektivin hat man zuletzt in der Hall gesehen, oder?
No. Their hammers of all different sizes hang on the wall, although some are more like mallets. Mallets? Could the justice hammers have been designed using these as a model? Either way, all these hammers have obviously seen a lot of use. They're all covered in debris and chalky stone powder. Wait, for some reason this one hammer isn't dirty at all, and it's wet. Did someone wash it recently? Spallo's hammer has been added to the truthful section.
Ich frage mich aufwendig, das ganze Hammer zu bemalen.
No. Fumi's big, cold body is laying on the floor. His really big body. I mean, how on earth was the killer able to move someone so big? From the nurse's office where he was discovered to here the repository, all the way from the first floor to the third, and all without anyone noticing it. How the hell? It's no good. I just don't get it. I can think about it later. For now, I have to finish investigating Hifumi himself. If I remember correctly, Hifumi's fatal injury was also a blow to the head, probably from Justice Hammer 3, which was laying on the floor in the nurse's office. Wait, something's off about his body. Why am I getting this feeling? Something's different. Something about Hifumi's body in the nurse's office versus his body right now. Die Brille, oder? That's it, his glasses. When his body was in the nurse's office, his glasses were covered in blood. But now they're completely clean. Does it mean someone wiped his glasses off? But who would do that and why? Jetzt haben wir noch Kyotaka. Taka, he'll never move again. According to the Monokuma fight, Taka died from a blow to the head. We found Justice Hammer 4 near his body in the equipment room. Is that what was used to kill him? And there's a tarp laid out under his body. Did the killer use it to move Taka's body? The way there wouldn't be any blood left behind while the body was moved. Blue tarp has been added to the bullet section. Soll man das benutzen, um die Leiche zu bewegen? Bei ihm hat man es nicht benutzt.
Das ist ja ein Wagen, oder?
Yeah. The dolly, it doesn't have a handle. I saw this in the art room before. I guess it's used to move statues around. Ja, vielleicht hat man damit die Leichen bewegt. It's kinda awkward, but if you bend down, it's not too hard to use. But wait. Wasn't this in the equipment room when we found Taka's body? Damit wurde, glaube ich, die Leiche von Taka bewegt. And look at the wheel. There's a bloodstain on it. But there's blood in the wheel of the dolly that was moved from the equipment room to the repository. What's the explanation for that? Also, soweit ich es verstanden habe, hat man wahrscheinlich die Leiche von Kiyotaka bewegt. Das war ja dann schließlich kein Problem, es war ja in einem Stock, aber ist seine Leiche? Das war eigentlich immer noch, wie man seine Leiche bewegt hat.
Vielleicht war es ja irgendjemand Starkes oder so. Aber ich glaube nicht, dass Sakura war. Sie hat ja ein Alibi.
Ja, das ist die einzigste, wo ich mir vorstellen könnte, dass die Leiche hochkriegt.
Das zweite, was mir einfallen könnte, wäre der Fluraufseher, aber der ist jetzt selber tot.
Ja. Ich glaube auch nicht, dass er die Leiche hochgetragen hat und einfach gesagt hat, okay, dann schlage ich mich halt jetzt selber tot. Ja, okay, do you think you really did it? I don't see how anyone could think otherwise. When the attacks and murders and disappearances all happened, every one of us had an alibi. And the last thing Hifumi said when he died, yeah, he said Hiro's name.
In other words,
yeah, there's no room to suspect anyone else. Okay, but if he did do it, why would he hide his identity with that weird costume? Maybe he thought that no matter what happened, he'd be safe as long as his face was covered. Because he's the fool of the century, you see. I mean, he is kinda dumb. But do you really think that's enough to explain it? I feel like there's a clue hiding in there somewhere.
What?
And is that it? That's all that bothers you about the case? Well, no, there's a few other things, like, why did the killer try to hide the bodies? They probably figured out that if we couldn't find the bodies, we couldn't complete our investigation. But if that's the case, we found the bodies pretty easily, didn't we? Again, it comes back to the fact that the culprit was a moron. Is that really all there is to it? The other thing that bothers me is, why did they both for killing two people?
what?
Because all the rules says if you can kill someone and get away with it, you graduate, right? So if you're the killer, your number one priority is not getting caught. But killing two people means more clues, more chances you'll get found out.
See.
Hold on, perhaps. I see, so that's what that means. Is everything okay?
That's enough.
Don't talk to me as if we're friends. What's with the attitude? But you have my appreciation.
Goodbye.
Thanks to you, I might have some fun with this after all. Some serious words hung in the air as he left the repository. He talked as if he'd figured something out. But if he did, wouldn't it have killed him to tell me what it was? There are many aspects to the incident this time, too many to be honest. Considering that, it may be good to look back on everything that's happened.
So then,
Would you like my help? Yeah, let's look back on things. This morning, only 4 of us met up in the hiding hole. Hina, Kyoko, you and myself. We waited for the others, but nobody showed up, so we decided to go look for them. It was around 8 o'clock when we began our search, and as soon as we split up, Kyoko disappeared. After that, Hina found Celeste in the rec room on the 3rd floor, and quickly came and got you and me. According to Celeste, she was attacked by a suspicious individual and lay unconscious for about an hour. In the other words, she was attacked an hour before we found her. Meaning, just after 7 o'clock. Based on the picture Celeste took, we discovered her attacker was dressed in a strange costume. It was Robot Justice. It also became clear that this Robot Justice had dragged Hifumi away. After meeting up with Toko and Byakuya, we began searching for the costumed assailant. We found an injured Hifumi in the library on the 2nd floor. We took him down to the nurse's office on the 1st floor, then resumed our search. But not long after leaving the nurse's office. Wrong. I saw a shadow. Something moved around at the top of the stairs. Based on Celeste's claims, we went back up to the 2nd floor where we split up and began searching. Then right after that, Celeste screamed. That time she had apparently seen the suspect on the 3rd floor. Hearing her screams, we quickly made our way to the 3rd floor. Celeste, what's wrong? That was a rather intense scream for someone like you. I saw him, the strange costume man. He ran off as soon as I screamed. I was blocking the stairs, so he headed further down into the hallway and disappeared. And then? What was that? They came from downstairs. It must have been. Hifumi, he's in the nurse's office. This bag, come on, we have to go back. At that point, we decided to split up into 2 groups. Celeste, Hina, and I went back to the nurse's office. Meanwhile, you, Byakuya, and Toko pursued the suspect up on the 3rd floor. When we got back to the nurse's office, we found Hifumi's corpse, which is also when we heard the body discovery announcement play.
Eigentlich gibt's ja eigentlich gerade nur einen Bericht, was alles passiert ist,
Yeah,
oder?
ich weiß. I left Celeste and Hina alone and headed back to the 3rd floor to tell the others what has happened.
however,
At the same time, we had discovered Taka's body in the equipment room. Which means Hifumi and Taka's body were discovered right around the same time. Ja, einer von den beiden war nicht tot, wenn sie es zur gleichen Zeit gefunden haben. Because I remember hearing the body discovery announcement play right after finding Taka.
Oder die wurden wirklich genau zur selben Zeit gefunden, darum wurde auch nur eine Ansage gemacht.
Es wurde ja später nochmal abgespielt.
Alter, stimmt.
And that's when I showed up and told you and Byakuya that Hifumi had been killed, right? Then you, me and Byakuya all headed back to the nurse office, leaving behind Toko, who had fainted. But as soon as we left the physics lab, we ran into Celeste, who just arrived to tell us something very unusual. Hifumi's body has disappeared. We hurried back to the nurse's office to discover that his corpse was in fact gone. Then remember, we had abandoned the unconscious Toko and rushed back to the equipment room. This can't be happening. Are we all hallucinating all this or something? This time Taka's body had disappeared, so from there we began our search for both of the missing bodies. And after some time, Celeste told us she'd found the bodies, and we all headed to the repository, and there we discovered the two bodies that had apparently vanished. And that brings us up to now.
However,
looking back, things have certainly been very active. If you want to look back at the case again, just let me know, I'm fine anytime. Okay.
Yeah.
Fucking weirder Fall auf jeden Fall.
Yeah.
There's only one way in and out of this room. There's definitely a lock in the door, but it can only be locked from inside the repository. Ja, die war ja vorher abgeschlossen. I don't see any way of locking it from outside the art room.
Ja, aber ich glaube nicht, dass einer von denen da das schaffen würde, auch selbst wenn sie es wollten.
Ja, ich glaube auch nicht. Ja. Hä? Ich kann nicht.
Ja, da ist irgendwas links oben. Also,
ja, die Kamera. Achso, muss ich dann noch mit Aoi reden? Ist das, was ich machen muss? Hey, Makoto, I've been thinking about something. It's about the repository. What is it? After Fumi and we split up to look around, right? I was really scared, so me and Sakura stuck together. And we came right to the repository to, you know, look around. When we got to okay, the repository was locked. We couldn't get inside. Was locked? Ja, das hast du doch selber auch festgestellt, du Vollpfosten. And we came here as soon as the search started, so there's no way someone could have beat us here. So if that's true, then who locked it, and why is it unlocked now? I wondered the same thing. The door was locked when we searched for the bodies when the search for the bodies began, but now it's wide open. There might be some secret lurking in there, but I'll probably have to leave this area to figure it all out. Yeah. The door can only be locked from inside the repository, which makes me wonder. Hina and Sakura both confirmed that the door was locked after the search for the bodies began, and the door is designed so that it can only be locked from inside the repository. In other words, when Hina checked it, someone had already gone in the repository and locked it. When they were done, they unlocked it and left, which is why it's unlocked now. So that certain someone, Hina claims that there is no way someone could have beaten them to the repository. Was it the killer who's still roaming free, or was it one of the victims? There's gotta be a clue around here somewhere. Maybe I should check somewhere else. There's some place I already know about. First the nurse office where Hifumi was found, then the equipment room where Taka was found. Ja, da können wir auf jeden Fall auch mal nachgucken. Gut Leute, aber dann würde ich sagen, dann machen wir hier beim nächsten Mal weiter bei Danganronpa und ciao.
Ciao.